72 million. That's the average pieces of data that is collected on a child before they turn 13. So what can parents do to help keep their children's private information safe?
Cyber safety expert Ross Bark joins us now. Good morning, Ross.
Good morning.
Now, that is a frighteningly huge number, 72 million.
It is, yeah.
And let's be clear about this. We're not talking about information that children are deliberately sharing with their friends here. We're talking about stuff that is picked up just by the sites they visit and the things they do online.
Absolutely. And that's what's going on. And if you think about it, children are prolific users of the internet. And what they're doing is they're using apps and they're viewing videos online. And when they do that, cookies are being downloaded to their devices, which can actually look at what they're viewing, where they are, and the device that they're using. So, I mean, effectively, what's happening is kids are using the internet, but the internet is using our kids because they're taking all of this data all the time, and parents aren't necessarily aware of this.
How would companies differentiate between children and adults and what they're looking at?
Well, that's the thing. In most cases, the way they do it is they don't necessarily even have to be logged in. They can do it on the basis of what they're viewing and what they're clicking on. So they can actually distinguish between whether a parent is watching something or a child is watching something. And so that information is then being taken and stored and used.
So they're collecting information, say, about what our kids are watching, where in the world they are, what times they're using. What are they using this information for?
They're using it for advertising. And in fact, if you look at the kids' digital ad market, it is growing. It is massive. Because let's look at this market. Kids are impressionable.
Yep.
And there's the nag factor. I was sitting with my 5-year-old the other day on the iPad and we're watching a video, and then suddenly a toy ad comes on and he absolutely has to have that toy right away.
Yep.
I mean, that's a familiar story. Otherwise, the world is going to come to an end.
Well, it's just like that old form of advertising, isn't it? You know, with, you know, the bright, colourful cartoons advertising a certain cereal, specifically targeting the kids. So is it somewhat similar here?
It's exactly right. And it's that nag factor that parents are then, you know, that influence factor that makes them go out and buy that or look at that straight away.
I mean, there were, I suppose, rules put in place when the internet was developed, and it was developed for adults, and maybe it wasn't really thought of how much children would start using it. Is there any way parents can monitor what information is being taken about their children or stop it?
Yeah, because there's no specific child-based laws in Australia that actually monitor or regulate how data is actually captured. And so what we need to do as a parent is we need to be vigilant. It's about supervision, and it's also about understanding what your kids are watching. Some of the key things that I would say is turn off location on your devices. Make sure that you're checking the privacy policies of the apps that they are viewing. There are many apps that are made for children that are actually collecting personalised information on what they're viewing and their location. So check those privacy policies. That's difficult, but at the same time, you can do a lot more to manage what they're viewing and what they're doing. And I would say probably the key thing around that is don't provide information if you don't need to.
Is there laws against this?
There's no laws specific in Australia, but overseas there are regulations in place in the US and in the UK, and actually more recently in China, which prohibits the use of this data when you're under 13. And my feeling is Australia has to catch up on that because we don't have any specific laws controlling that here.
It is something that I think you talk about, you know, reading the privacy statements.
Yeah.
That takes so much time.
Yeah,
I don't
and
think
parents
anybody
don't
does
do
Just
it.
click it and you say yes.
Yeah, I know. But there are tools that you can use. So you can go on your iPhone right now and you can look at the security session, the privacy area, and you can go and look at those and actually change the way in which advertising is taken from your device. And I think a lot of parents don't know that and don't understand how that works.
Check your privacy settings.
Yeah, absolutely.
Check them today.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ross Bark, thank you.
Yeah.